The night I knocked on a stranger's door, I was already dead. Not dead the way my husband was dead, crushed in a mining accident that left his body so broken they wouldn't let me see him. Not dead the way I'd be dead if I stayed one more night in that house with his brother standing in my doorway, filling the dark with his breathing and his silence and his patience. I was dead the way a woman gets when she's been running for too long on too little. When her children haven't eaten in 2 days, and her 4-year-old hasn't spoken in 3 months, and her 7-year-old watches every man like he might be the one who finally hurts them. Dead inside, dead tired, dead scared. And then I knocked. The storm hit us somewhere in Wyoming. I'd known it was coming, felt it in my bones the way you learn to feel things when you've been sleeping in barns and haylofts and once, for 3 terrible nights, in a ditch with the girls pressed against me for warmth. But I'd pushed on anyway. The driver said we could make it. The driver was wrong. He died first, just slumped forward on his seat somewhere around midnight, and the horses kept going because horses don't understand death. They just walk. Sarah climbed over his body and took the reins. My 7-year-old, my fierce, impossible child. She drove that wagon through white so thick you couldn't see the horse's ears, and she didn't cry, and she didn't ask me what to do. She just did it. I held Lily in my arms and prayed to a God I wasn't sure I believed in anymore. "Fence line," Sarah said eventually. Her voice was small but steady. "Mama, I see a fence." I looked, through the snow, through the dark, through the exhaustion that made everything feel like a dream. I saw it. A fence. And beyond it, a house with smoke still rising from the chimney. Someone was alive in there. Someone had fire. I took the reins from Sarah. I don't remember climbing down from the wagon. I don't remember crossing the yard. What I remember is the door, wooden, solid, a rectangle of possibility in all that white. I knocked. Nothing. I knocked again, harder, desperate. The wind tore at my coat, at the blanket wrapped around Lily, at the thin fabric of Sarah's dress beneath her worn cloak. They were going to die out here. My bobbies were going to freeze to death on some stranger's porch, and I was going to watch it happen because I'd been too stubborn to stay in Missouri and let Sela's take them. I knocked a 3rd time. Weaker, please, please, please. The door opened. A man stood there with a rifle in his hand, backlit by firelight. I couldn't see his face. I could only see the shape of him, the bulk of him, the weapon. And then I felt Lily's body against mine, cold as death, and I said the only words that mattered. "My daughter, she's freezing, please." He stepped back. I don't remember crossing the threshold. I don't remember the warmth hitting my face or the fire coming into view. What I remember is the floor, wooden planks, worn smooth, and my knees hitting it, and my frozen fingers fighting with the buttons of my coat, trying to get Lily out, trying to get her warm. He moved past me. I tensed, waiting for I didn't know what, but he just threw logs on the fire, grabbed blankets from a chest, pumped water and put it on the stove, found food. By the time I had Lily wrapped in blankets, the room was warm enough to make my eyes water. "Thank you," I said. My voice didn't sound like mine. "Thank you for opening the door." He didn't say anything, just crouched down beside us and held out a blanket for me. I took it, wrapped it around myself, looked at him for the first time. He was maybe 40, with lines on his face that spoke of grief and solitude. His hands were rough, calloused, ranch hands. His eyes were the kindest I'd seen in years and the saddest. I didn't know then that he'd lost his wife and baby 14 months ago. I didn't know that he'd been dying slowly in this house, just going through the motions, waiting for nothing. I didn't know that my knock on his door would save him as surely as his opening it saved us. All I knew was that a stranger had let us in, and for the first time in weeks, I could breathe. Sarah didn't trust him. She stood against the wall with her arms crossed and her chin up, holding our carpet bag like it was a weapon. She watched him the way she'd watched every man since her father died, like he might be hiding something, like he might turn on us the second we let our guard down. I'd tried to teach her not to be this way, tried to tell her she was too young to carry so much weight. But she'd learned the weight anyway, learned it the way children learn when the world teaches them that safety is a lie. "You have a rifle," she said to him. "I do." "You pointed it at my mama." "I didn't point it at anybody. I carried it to the door. That's different." She considered this. 7 years old, and she considered his words like a judge considering a verdict. "Is it?" He didn't have an answer. Neither did I. He made us tea. He made us eat. He put more blankets by the fire and didn't ask questions, didn't demand explanations, didn't do any of the things men usually did when they found a woman alone with children. His name was Daniel Hayes. He'd placed an advertisement for a housekeeper 3 months ago. I'd answered it with a lie, said I was alone, a widow, no children. Because no man answers a letter from a woman with 2 kids, not unless he's looking for something else, and I couldn't risk that. Now here I was, sitting by his fire with my daughters, waiting for him to throw us out. He didn't. "The room at the end of the hall," he said finally. "There's a bed. It's small, but it's warm. There's a lock on the door." I almost cried. I couldn't, not yet. "I'll work," I said. "I'll cook and clean and do whatever needs doing. I'm not asking for charity." "I know you're not." "I can doctor. I can keep a house. I can preserve food and sew and teach children to read. I can do anything you need." "I believe you." He looked at me like he was trying to figure out if I was real. Like he hadn't talked to anyone in a long time. Like my being here was strange and welcome and terrifying all at once. "What was her name?" I asked. He went still. "What?" "Your wife. There's a photograph on the dresser. What was her name?" "Margaret." His voice cracked on the word. "She died 14 months ago, the baby too." I knew that kind of grief. I carried my own version of it, tucked away where the girls couldn't see. "I'm sorry." "Don't be sorry. Just be what you say you are. Cook, clean, earn your place." I nodded. I picked up Lily, carried her to the room at the end of the hall. At the doorway, I looked back. "Daniel." "Yeah." "Thank you for opening the door." He didn't say anything, just nodded. I closed the door behind me and locked it, and for the first time in months. I slept without dreaming of Silas, standing in the dark. The days that followed were strange and ordinary all at once. I cleaned his house, really cleaned it, the way a place needs cleaning when no one's bothered for over a year. I found Margaret's things in drawers and closets, touched them gently, put them back. I cooked meals with ingredients from his pantry, food I hadn't seen in weeks. I taught Sarah her letters at the kitchen table while Lily drew by the fire. Daniel worked the ranch with his hand. Tom, a quiet boy who blushed every time I spoke to him. He came in for meals and sat with us and didn't say much, but he was there, present, watching us the way we watched him. Sarah started following him around. At first I worried. She'd never trusted a man before, not since her father died. But Daniel didn't seem to mind her questions, her constant watching, her need to understand everything. He answered her patiently, showed her how fences worked, let her help with small tasks. "He's good with her," I said one night, sitting by the fire. "He's good with both of them." Daniel stirred his coffee. Lily left me another drawing. I'd seen it, a picture of 4 figures standing together, smoke coming from the chimney. She draws what she wishes for. What does she wish for? Safety, warmth, family. He looked at the fire for a long time. I can give her safety, warmth. I don't know about family. Neither do I, but we're here. That's a start. He nodded. We sat in silence, comfortable now in a way we hadn't been those first nights. "Daniel." "Yeah." "I'm not looking for a husband. I'm not looking for romance or anything like that. I'm looking for safety for my girls, that's all." "I know. I need you to understand. I can't lose another person I love, so this is practical. Me working for you, that's all it can be." He looked at me across the fire. "I understand. I'm not looking for anything either. I'm still Margaret. I'm not over her. I don't know if I'll ever be over her." Then we understand each other. We do. We sat in silence. The fire popped. The wind blew outside. And for the first time since my husband died, I felt something I couldn't name. Not love, not yet, but something like possibility. Hattie Perkins showed up in March. She was 70 years old and knew everyone's business within 50 miles. She took one look at me, one look at the girls, one look at Daniel, and decided we were exactly where we belonged. "You're good people," she told me in the kitchen while Daniel did chores. "I can tell, and those girls need a father." "They have a father. He's dead." "A living father, a present father, someone to teach them and protect them and love them." She looked toward the window where Sarah was following Daniel to the barn. "That one's already half in love with him. The little one, too, in her way." "Lily doesn't talk." "She draws, same thing, different language. She drew you all together, didn't she? 4 figures, smoke from the chimney." I stared at her. "How did you know?" "I've been alive 70 years, child. I know things." She patted my hand. "You're going to marry him. Maybe not today, maybe not tomorrow, but someday. And it's going to be the best thing that ever happened to all of you." I started to protest, but she was already walking away, calling something about coffee and where did Daniel keep the good cups. The letter came in April. I saw the mail writer coming from a mile away. Watched him ride up, hand me the envelope, ride off. I stood in the yard holding it like it might bite. Daniel walked over. "What is it?" I handed it to him without speaking. The return address was a law office in St. Louis. He opened it, read it. His face didn't change, but something in his eyes went hard. "He knows where we are," I said. "Looks that way." "He's filed for custody. He's going to take them." "No, he's not." "You don't understand. He has money. He has lawyers. He'll say I'm unfit, that I ran away, that I'm living in sin with a stranger." "Stop," Daniel took my shoulders. "Stop, we're married, legally married. Those girls have my name now." I stared at him. "What are you talking about?" "Hattie suggested it, said it would protect you, protect them. I should have talked to you first, but I went ahead and filed the papers. We're married as of last week. I didn't tell you because I wanted to wait until I was sure it was what you wanted. But legally, it's done. Those girls are mine now. This ranch is their home." I couldn't speak, couldn't breathe. Married. He'd married me without telling me, without asking, without. "I know you're angry," he said. "I know I should have asked. But the judge signed the papers and I hoped that maybe you'd see it as protection, as a way to keep them safe. If you want to undo it, we can undo it. But not until after we fight Sila's, not until we win." I looked at his face, kind, worried, hopeful in spite of himself. "You married me," I said. "I married you. For the girls. For the girls and for you, and for me, if I'm being honest. I didn't want you to leave when spring came. I didn't know how to ask you to stay, so I did this instead. Stupid. I know it's stupid." I started laughing. I couldn't help it. After everything, the running, the hiding, the fear, the blizzard, the knock on his door, he'd gone and married me without telling me because he didn't want me to leave. Daniel looked confused. "Are you laughing?" "I'm laughing because you're an idiot. A wonderful, kind, stubborn idiot who married a woman he barely knows because he wanted to protect her children." "Is that bad?" "No." I stepped forward and put my hand on his chest, over his heart. "No, it's not bad. It's the best thing anyone's ever done for me." He exhaled slowly. "So you're not angry?" "I'm not angry. I'm something else. Something I don't have a word for yet." "Happy?" "Maybe. Give me time to figure it out." He smiled, just a small one, barely there. "Take all the time you need." We fought Sila's in Cheyenne. 2 days of testimony, of witnesses, of a 7-year-old's written statement that made the clerk's hands shake. 2 days of watching Sila's smile at me across the courtroom like he still believed he'd win. He didn't win. The judge denied his petition, ordered him to stay away, told him to go back to Missouri and grieve his brother properly instead of tormenting his children. I didn't cry when the verdict came down. I couldn't. I was too full of everything: relief, gratitude, love for the man sitting beside me who'd made this possible. Daniel took my hand under the table, squeezed it once. "We won," I said. "We won." We rode home slow, not because we were tired, but because we wanted to stretch out the feeling. the knowledge that it was really over. When we came over the last ridge and saw the ranch below, 2 small figures were on the porch, watching, waiting. I waved. Sarah grabbed Lily's hand and they ran, down the porch steps, across the yard, through the gate. Sarah climbed into the wagon before I could stop the horses. "Did we win, Mama? Did we win?" "We won, baby, we won." She threw her arms around me, then she turned and threw them around Daniel. He hugged her back and I watched his face change as he held her. Soften, open, love her. Lily stood by the wagon, looking up at Daniel with those brown eyes. "Hey, little one," he said. She reached up. He lifted her into his arms and she wrapped herself around him, face pressed against his neck. "Papa," she said. The word hung in the air. Clear, sure, the first word she'd spoken out loud in months. Daniel's eyes met mine. They were wet. "Papa," Lily said again. "I've got you, little one," he said. His voice was rough. "I've got all of you, nobody's taking anybody." Sarah pressed against his side. I wrapped my arms around all of them. We stood there in the yard, the 4 of us, while the sun went down and the ranch settled around us. Home, safe, together. That night, after the girls were in bed, I found a new drawing on the kitchen table. Lily must have done it while we were asleep, or maybe early before anyone woke up. It showed the house with the chimney, smoke pouring out, filling the whole top of the page. 4 figures standing together in front, no space between them. And above them, in wobbly letters, one word: family. Daniel came up behind me and looked over my shoulder. "She's been working on that for days," I said. "Sarah helped with the letters, but the picture is all Lily. It's perfect. She draws what she feels, what she can't say." Daniel touched the drawing gently. "She said the important word today, Papa." She did. "I'm going to frame this, put it on the wall, so we always remember." "Remember what?" "That family isn't about blood. It's about choice, about showing up every day and choosing each other, about opening doors when people knock." I leaned against him. He put his arm around me. "I love you," I said. "I didn't plan to, I didn't want to, but I do." "I love you too. Been loving you for a while now, just didn't know how to say it." "You don't have to say it, you show it, every day, that's better." We stood there in the kitchen, looking at our daughter's art. Outside, the ranch was waking up, horses moving in the corral, birds singing, the creek running full with snowmelt. "Daniel." "Yeah." "Thank you for opening the door." He kissed the top of my head. "Thank you for knocking." 2 years passed, then 5, then 10. Sarah grew into a young woman who could ride and shoot and fix fences as well as any man. She went to school in town, then came back to the ranch because it was home, and she couldn't imagine being anywhere else. Lily never stopped drawing. She filled notebooks and sketchbooks and scraps of paper with pictures of our family, growing now, more figures added over the years. Horses, dogs, a boy Sarah married, Bobbies that came after. But the first drawing stayed on the wall by the fireplace. Framed, protected, the one with 4 figures and wobbly letters and smoke pouring from the chimney. Family. Visitors would ask about it sometimes. Why that drawing? Why there? Why framed like it was precious? I'd tell them the story, the blizzard, the knock on the door, the stranger who let us in. "Right there," I'd say, pointing to the porch. "That's where I stood, that's where I knocked, that's where everything changed." Daniel would come up behind me sometimes when I told the story, put his hand on my shoulder, smile. "She almost didn't answer," he'd say. "She had a rifle." I was being careful. "You were being smart, and then you opened the door." And then I opened the door. The visitors would look at us, at the drawing, at the life we'd built from nothing but courage and hope and the stubborn refusal to give up. Some of them cried. Some of them smiled. All of them understood that this house held something rare, something precious. Love, yes, but more than love. Family, chosen, earned, fought for. The night I knocked on a stranger's door, I was already dead. But he opened it anyway. And I've been alive ever since.